I want you to do something for me right now. It might
Yeah.
be a little painful, but stay with me. I want you to mentally open your wallet, pull out your driver's license or your work ID, and really look at that photo. Don't actually do it if you're driving, obviously, but just, visualize it. How does that image make you feel?
If you are like 99% of the population,
Mhm.
the answer is probably embarrassed.
Yes.
Or maybe just a deep existential sigh.
It's this universal dread, isn't it? Most of us are walking around with official government documentation that makes us look like, I don't know, tired criminals. It's the mugshot effect.
Yeah.
You hand it over to the TSA agent or the bouncer, and you almost want to apologize in advance. Like, I swear I don't actually look like this.
Exactly. It's this strange phenomenon where we just accept that our most important document has our worst photo.
Mm.
But here's the thing, and this is what we're digging into today. It doesn't have to be that way.
Okay.
Today, we are obsessing over the concept of the life shot.
I love this term, the life shot.
In Korean culture, specifically in the very image-conscious youth culture, they call this the insing shot. It translates to a photo so good, it essentially defines your life.
Yeah.
It's the one image you actually want to pull out to prove to people, yes, this is me, and yes, I actually look this put together.
And to figure out how to get one of these elusive life shots, we are not just skimming a list of generic tips from a random fashion blog. We aren't doing Smile More.
No.
We are going straight to a primary source. We're doing a deep dive into a comprehensive guide by Ilyu.
Right. And for context, Ilyu isn't just an influencer posing for selfies in good lighting. She is a former photo studio owner from Hongdae.
Which, for anyone who doesn't know, is basically the hyper-competitive, trendy youth capital of Seoul.
Absolutely. If you can make it there as a photographer, you really know your stuff. The standards there are incredibly high.
Right.
Exactly. She hasn't just taken photos. She has taken, filtered, and edited thousands of ID and profile pictures. She has seen every mistake, every bad outfit choice, and every awkward facial expression.
So she knows the physics of the face.
She understands the physics of the face, and perhaps more importantly, the dark arts of Photoshop.
The mission for this deep dive is, it's pretty high stakes. You usually keep a driver's license or an ID card for 5 to 7 years.
That is a massive amount of time to hate a photo.
It's nearly a decade of cringe. So we are going to decode the specific, actionable steps to ensure your next photo is a keeper.
We've got a roadmap for this. We're going to cover strategic fashion, what to wear, and what to burn.
Ha!
We'll look at the physics of the face geometry, angles, and eye tricks. We'll touch on hair engineering.
Oh.
And finally, we will open the door to the retouching room to learn how to speak the editor's language.
I love that hair engineering. Okay, let's unpack this. We have to start with the wardrobe because that's the first decision you make before you even leave the house.
Right.
I think most people, when they panic about a photo, they just grab something black. It's slimming, it's classic. You can't go wrong with a black turtleneck, right? I feel like that's the default creative genius look.
Well, actually, that is strike one. According to our expert, the black turtleneck is one of the biggest mistakes you can make for an ID photo.
Really?
It creates what she calls the floating head danger.
The floating head. That sounds like a horror movie trope. Why does that happen?
It's all about contrast and cropping.
Yeah.
In real life, you have context, your arms, your legs, the environment. But in a 2D photo, cropped tightly at the chest, a black turtleneck creates this specific visual problem.
Which is?
It completely hides the neck. There was no separation between your jawline and your shoulders.
I see. And because the background of ID photos is usually white or light gray, the shirt just becomes a black void.
Precisely. It absorbs all the light. The high contrast draws the eye immediately to the outline of the face, emphasizing the face shape way too aggressively.
Oof.
So if your jawline isn't razor sharp, the black turtleneck will highlight that softness. You end up with just a pale face hovering in dark space.
That is terrifying. Okay, so no floating heads. If black is too dark and risky, do we go to the other end of the spectrum? Just a crisp, bright white shirt that feels safe, clean, professional.
You would think so, but that leads us into what she calls the bright white trap.
Okay, walk me through the science of the bright white trap. Why is clean white bad?
This comes down to how camera sensors handle dynamic range. Stark, bright white reflects a massive amount of light.
Right.
When the studio flash hits that shirt, it becomes the brightest object in the frame. It basically acts like a reflector board right under your chin.
And cameras and human eyes are naturally drawn to the brightest point.
Right. So people look at your shirt, not your eyes. But worse, the camera tries to expose for that bright white shirt.
Ah.
So to keep the shirt from looking like a supernova, The camera might darken the rest of the image slightly to compensate.
So by comparison, your face looks underexposed.
Exactly. It washes you out or makes you look dull. It can also make your skin tone look darker or muddier than it actually is.
So what's the move?
So the expert recommendation is very specific. You want white with a drop of color.
White with a drop of color. That's a great phrase. It sounds like a paint sample. What does that look like in practice?
Think ivory, cream, light beige, or a soft pale sky blue. You want something that reads as light and clean to the camera, but has enough tone to absorb some light rather than acting like a mirror.
So off-white is the new white. It keeps the focus on the face. But the notes did mention an exception for color, didn't they?
Yes.
Something about high saturation?
Yes, this is an interesting nuance.
Yeah.
If you have very distinct, sharp features, think strong eyebrows, high cheekbones, very defined eyes, you can actually pull off high saturation primary colors.
Like what?
A deep royal blue or a strong red.
Interesting. So if you have a strong face, the strong color balances it.
It can make the image pop. It creates a bold, graphic look. But for most of us with softer features, or if you just want a softer vibe, stick to the pastels and creams. The strong colors can kind of overpower a softer face.
Got it. Now, what about those of us who want to express our personality? What if I want to wear my lucky polka dot shirt or a floral print? I feel like that shows me.
Please don't. The source is incredibly strict on this. Pattern prohibition.
No exceptions.
No flowers, no checks, no giant logos, no polka dots, nothing.
Is that just the style preference? Or is there a technical reason behind it?
It's two things. First, it's the timelessness factor. Remember, this ID lasts for nearly a decade.
Good point.
Patterns are trendy. What looks cute and retro today will look incredibly tacky in 3 years. You don't want to look at your license in 2030 and cringe at your 2026 fashion choice.
That's fair. So fair.
But technically, patterns also create visual noise. It confuses the eye. The goal of an ID photo is recognition. You want people to look at your facial features.
Right.
A checkerboard shirt makes the viewer dizzy. Keep it solid. Keep it simple.
That makes sense. Now let's talk about fabric weight. I noticed a warning about winter clothes.
Yes. Avoid thick knits, fleece, or hoodies. The camera adds 10 pounds, and a chunky sweater adds another 10. It bulks up the upper body and makes you look rounder than you are. Stick to thin materials, shirts, or blouses. You want to see the structure of the body, not the fluff of the fabric.
Speaking of shirts, there was one specific tip about button-downs that absolutely blew my mind. I realized I've been doing this wrong my entire adult life.
Ah, yes, the second button rule.
Usually, if I want to look casual but professional, I unbutton the top button. Done. I feel like that's the standard move.
Oh, totally.
It's polite, it's safe.
And that's fine for a Zoom meeting or dinner. But for a static photo, just unbuttoning the top button creates a V shape that is too small. It makes the neck look short and the face look cramped.
Okay.
The expert advice is to unbutton the second button as well.
That feels risky. Every time I read that, I think, I'm going to look like I'm at a disco in the 70s. It feels like too much skin.
It feels that way looking in a mirror. But remember the crop. The photo is cut off right around the collarbone or upper chest.
Ah, okay.
By opening that second button, you create a deeper V shape that visually elongates the neck.
So it's an optical illusion to create length.
Exactly. It gives the face room to breathe. You aren't showing off your chest hair to the DMV agent. You're just creating a longer line for the camera lens. It creates elegance. It makes the neck look longer and slimmer, which prevents the head from looking like it's just sitting on the shoulders.
Okay, I'm sold. Ivory shirt, second button undone, no patterns. We are dressed for success. Now we have to sit in the chair.
The hard part.
This is where the anxiety spikes for me. The photographer says, look at the camera, and I immediately turn into a deer in headlights.
The deer in headlights is the default setting for most of us. You stare right into the center of the glass, and usually you open your eyes too wide because you're trying to look alert.
Guilty. I look like I've had 10 espressos. I'm trying to look wide-eyed and innocent, but I just look startled.
Iliu calls this out specifically. She says, do not look at the center of the lens glass.
Okay, but if I don't look at the lens, won't I look like I'm looking away?
Here is the hack. Look at the bottom rim of the camera lens circle.
The bottom rim, like the plastic ring.
Yes, the plastic ring just below the glass.
What does that physically do to the face?
Well, think about the mechanics of your eyes. When you stare dead center, your upper eyelids naturally retract, exposing the whites above your iris, the sclera.
Right.
That white space above the pupil is what signals fear or shock to the human brain.
Right. Biology 101, that's the fight or flight face.
Exactly. When you lower your gaze just a fraction to that bottom rim, your eyelid relaxes. It covers the top of the iris slightly. It cleans up the eye line and creates a much more natural, calm, confident expression.
Wow.
You lose the craziness, but you keep the focus.
That is such a subtle detail, but I can see how it would make a huge difference. You go from startled to composed.
Exactly. And you combine this with the posture correction. You know the drill. Chin down, eyes forward. But now instead of staring down the barrel, you focus on that bottom rim.
So it sharpens the jawline while keeping the eyes relaxed. Okay, so we have the eyes sorted. Let's talk about the body. Because usually for an ID, you just sit square, shoulders forward, like you're strapped into a roller coaster seat.
And that square-on pose gives you the mugshot vibe.
Yep.
It's very confrontational. It makes you look as broad as possible. It flattens you out. The expert suggests we need to move beyond the square.
But isn't an ID photo required to be front-facing?
Your face has to be front-facing. Your body doesn't. That is the distinction people miss.
Okay, distinction noted. So how do we position the body?
The technique is the 45-degree turn. You turn your body slightly to the side, about 45 degrees, but you twist your head back to face the camera directly.
Classic portrait technique. It creates depth.
It creates depth and slims the shoulder line immediately. But there's a nuance here depending on your pretty side.
Everyone has a pretty side. I definitely have a side I prefer.
We all do. Once you identify it, you can manipulate your shoulders to enhance it. To look slimmer, you can pull the arm that is furthest from the camera inward. Across your stomach, it pulls the shoulder in.
Okay, shrinking the silhouette.
Or you can slightly lift the shoulder on your pretty side and rest your hands on your knees. It feels a bit like physical engineering.
It sounds like yoga, honestly, but it changes the silhouette from a block to something more dynamic.
Now we have to talk about the smile.
Oh, this is the hardest part.
It's the hardest part for most people. If I smile with teeth, I look like a game show host.
Yeah.
If I don't smile, I look like I'm angry. What is the middle ground?
Right. The passport face. Dead eyes, straight mouth. It looks like you're waiting for bad news.
So Iliu recommends the bite technique.
The bite, like actually biting.
You don't just close your lips. You imagine biting down gently on your back molars. This creates a tiny bit of tension in the jawline. It firms up the muscles under the chin.
Okay.
Then, and this is crucial, you lift only the very corners of the mouth.
Just the corners.
A tiny amount of force. If you oversmile, you scrunch up your eyes, and we lose that nice, relaxed eye shape we just established. It's a micro-expression. Bite gently, lift corners. It signals friendliness without distorting the face.
I'm trying it right now. It feels weirdly artificial, but I bet it looks better than my usual grimace.
It feels fake, but on camera, it reads as pleasant and composed. It's the Mona Lisa smile. Just a hint. All right, let's move up to the top of the head. Hair. This seems like it would be straightforward. Just brush it and hope for the best.
You would think. But hair is where a lot of ID photos fail, especially regarding retouching later. The expert warns against the bong-ut look.
Bong-ut? Is it a technical term?
It's a Korean term describing that perfectly round, high dome volume, like a helmet of hair.
Oh, like when you've just come from the salon and they've blown it out so much it defies gravity.
Exactly. If the hair's too perfectly set and high, it looks incredibly unnatural when they start retouching the face shape. It looks like a wig that's been photoshopped onto you. It looks like Lego hair.
Right.
Iliu suggests you need some air and wave, but natural flow is better than perfect volume.
So messy is better. Not messy, flowing. And there is a specific strategy for positioning the hair, the one-ear rule.
Which is?
The most universally flattering style is to tuck the hair behind the ear on your pretty side, the side of your face you prefer, and let the hair fall forward on the other side.
I see. So you get the clean jawline visibility on one side, but the framing and softness on the other. Best of both worlds.
Exactly. It balances the face. If you pull it all back, your face looks huge. If you pull it all forward, you look like a ghost in a movie.
The one-ear tuck is the perfect compromise.
That makes sense.
But here is the pro tip for anyone who is indecisive. Use the 3 and 3 method.
What is that?
You are the customer. You have the chair for 10 or 15 minutes. Ask the photographer to take 3 shots with your hair all forward and 3 shots with your hair all back or tucked.
That's smart, because sometimes you think you want one look, but on the monitor it looks totally different.
Right. Don't decide in the mirror. Decide on the screen. Give yourself options. Now, I have to share this one because it's so relatable. What happens if you get to the studio, you look in the mirror, and you have those little flyaway hairs sticking up everywhere, and you forgot your hairspray?
The panic sets in. But the studio owner shares a bathroom hack. It's primal but effective.
Okay.
Go to the restroom, Wet your hands with tap water and smooth down the side hair immediately before you sit down.
Just water. Won't that dry out and frizz up?
It will, eventually.
Yeah.
But for the 30 seconds that the shutter is clicking, it acts like a strong fixative. It cleans up the silhouette so the editor doesn't have to digitally erase a halo of frizz later.
It's a temporary seal.
Exactly. It buys you time.
Speaking of the editor, let's enter the retouching room. This feels like the most mysterious part of the process.
That's right.
We hand over our raw files and hope for a miracle.
It is where the magic happens. But Ilya says we need to understand the limitations. There is a golden rule of editing that every listener needs to internalize.
Lay it on us.
The studio can fix your face. They can fix your skin. They can fix your makeup. They can even perform digital liposuction on your arm. But they cannot easily fix your clothes.
Really? I would have thought clothes are easier than faces. A shirt doesn't have emotions.
It's actually the opposite. Fabric folds, patterns, and logos are complex. The source shares this painful anecdote about struggling for hours to digitally remove a logo from a shirt because the customer didn't like it.
Oh, wow.
It looks fake very quickly. The texture of fabric is just really hard to replicate.
So the takeaway is, dress perfectly, let the computer handle the biology.
Exactly. Dress right, let the algorithm fix the pimple.
Okay, so when I'm sitting with the editor or sending my request, what should I actually ask for? I usually just say, make me look good, which is probably not helpful.
It's too vague. You need to speak Photoshop. You need specific vocabulary to get what you want without looking like a completely different person.
Teach us the vocab. What's the first term?
First, ask for symmetry. Specifically, ask to balance the eyes and the lip corners. Most of us have one eye slightly smaller or lower than the other, or a mouth that tilts. They can fix that in seconds.
Okay, symmetry. What else?
The neckline. This connects back to our fashion tip. You can ask them to slim down the trapezius muscle.
The trapezius, that's the muscle where the neck meets the shoulder.
Yes, it's the stress muscle. If you are tense during the photo, your shoulders go up and your neck disappears into that muscle. It creates a bulky triangular look.
Right.
You can ask them to digitally push that muscle down. It makes your neck look longer, more elegant instantly.
That is brilliant. I never would have thought to ask for that specifically. Please lower my trapezius. It sounds so medical, but the result is aesthetic.
Another one is the forehead lift. If your forehead looks narrow or your hair is plastering it down, ask them to digitally pull the hairline up. It opens up the face and makes you look brighter.
And what about volume? Can they add hair if the water hack made it too flat?
They can. You can ask for root volume or side volume.
No.
If your hair looks flat because of the intense studio lights, they can puff it up digitally.
Yeah.
They essentially clone your hair to add height.
This is amazing. It really is like digital plastic surgery.
It is. But there is a huge caveat regarding makeup.
Okay.
Because the editing is so powerful, the expert advises, do not wear heavy makeup to the shoot.
Wait, really? I would assume you need more makeup for photos to avoid looking washed out.
Not for this kind of high-end retouching. If you wear heavy contouring or thick eyeliner, it's baked into the image. The editor can't remove it or change the shape easily. If you have a thick black line on your eye, they can't change your eye shape without destroying the pixels.
That makes sense.
But if you go natural and clean a blank canvas, the photographer can digitally add blush. They can add shading. They can even add eyelashes.
They can add eyelashes.
They can paste them right on. It looks cleaner than real mascara. So it's better to be underdone than overdone. Give them a clean base to work on.
That changes everything. So I don't need to spend 2 hours on a smoky eye that might look messy on camera anyway.
Exactly. Clean skin, simple base. Let the software do the heavy lifting.
So if we recap the life shot formula, it seems approachable now.
It really comes down to 3 pillars. Preparation, wear the ivory shirt, unbutton the second button.
Check.
Technicals, look at the bottom of the lens, 45-degree angle, bite smile. And finally, communication. Know exactly what to ask the editor to fix trapezius, symmetry, volume.
And I think the empowering part of this deep dive is realizing that you are the customer. I usually feel like I'm imposing if I ask for a retake or a specific edit. I just want to get out of there.
Right. But Ilyu emphasizes this. It's okay to be picky. It's okay to ask for the 3-in-3 hair shots. It's okay to sit with the editor and say, can you lift my left lip corner? You are paying for a product that represents you to the world.
And considering you're stuck with it for 5 years, being a little annoying for 10 minutes is worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The photographer wants you to leave happy too.
This has been fascinating. I'm actually kind of excited to go get a new ID photo, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say.
It's a solvable problem. That's the beauty of it.
Before we wrap up, is there one final thought from the source material that really stuck with you?
There is. It's a bit of a paradox that the expert highlights. We rely so heavily on technology to perfect our faces. We can digitally reconstruct a jawline, smooth skin, add hair volume.
Right.
We trust the computer to make us look more human.
Right. We outsource our beauty to the algorithm.
But we have to dress perfectly because the technology fails at fixing fabric. It's easier for an algorithm to simulate human biology than it is to simulate a cotton shirt.
That is wild. We are more digitally malleable than our clothes.
It really makes you think about what perfection means in the digital age. We can fake the person, but we can't fake the style.
Something to mull over next time you're buttoning up that shirt, second button undone, of course.
Of course.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. Go get that life shot. We'll see you next time.